Curious Vedanth and welcome to my podcast. Today, my guest is my uncle, Dr Ananth Vikas, who is a pathologist at Anand Diagnostic Laboratory, Bangalore, India. Anand Diagnostic Laboratory is one of the few authorized labs in India to test for COVID-19. Hi, Dr. Vikas. Welcome to my show.
Hi Vedant, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Before we start, I would like to thank you for being a soldier protecting us from the virus. So, Dr. Vikas, you are a pathologist. I'm curious as to what pathologists do.
A pathologist is a doctor who tries to study diseases and understand them and helps the other doctors in coming to a diagnosis of what the patient has a problem with. A pathologist is a person who tries to identify what is actually wrong with that person so that the correct treatment can be given.
Oh wow, that is important work. I learned something new. So, how do you test to see if a person is infected with coronavirus?
There are many ways in which we can test a person, but what we are doing currently and what is recommended by all the authorities is a test called a PCR test. A PCR test is a molecular test. So, do you want to know how we do the test?
Yes.
Okay. So, when a person is suspected to have a COVID-19, what a doctor does is that they take a swab from the nose and the mouth and they collect a bit of the lining. Okay. So, the virus usually stays within the nose and the mouth. So, what we do is we get these swabs from these doctors and then we put them through a test called a PCR test, which takes about 8 to 12 hours. And then we get a result saying whether the virus is detected in the swab or not.
Oh, okay. So, how do you keep yourself safe while testing as you cannot maintain a 1 meter distance?
That's a very nice question. So we have something called a personal protective equipment, or what everybody refers to as PPEs. So generally when we go to the lab or to the molecular lab where the testing is done, we change into a lab clothes, which is like a t-shirt and a pajama. On top of that, we wear another layer of a full body suit, which covers every part of our body. We wear 2 gloves. We wear a mask that covers our face. We wear a goggles that cover our eyes. And then we wear a clear visor on top of that. So we essentially have at least 2 or 3 layers of clothing on top of us to protect ourselves. And at the end of 6 hours, we actually have to throw away all of these clothes that we've worn because any of them may have got infected. And these have to be either sterilized or washed and before using again.
So, does it get hot inside those suits?
Yes, we do start to sweat quite a bit, but thankfully, because of the air conditioning, it's not that bad. We can manage for up to 6 hours at a time, after which we need to take a break.
Wow. What can we do to keep ourselves safe other than wearing a mask and practicing social distancing?
As of now, those are the 2 main weapons that you have to keep yourself safe. Mainly wearing a mask and keeping your distance from other people. The other most important thing that you can do is something very simple, which is washing your hands. Anything that you touch, anywhere that you go, you need to remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 60 seconds. So you need to count 60 seconds. Scrub your hands with soap for 60 seconds and then wash them. And if you touch something, avoid touching your nose or your face or your eyes with your hands before you wash them. So these are some very simple practices that you can follow to protect yourself from getting a COVID infection.
But if when you're outside and if you have touched something and your face is itching or something, how do you scratch it?
So there are a few things again there. That's again a nice question. One is you can carry a small bottle of hand sanitizer with you. Although it's not as effective as soap and water, it helps. The other thing is you can make sure that you touch whatever you touch with one hand. Like if you're opening a door or if you're holding a table, you use your left hand. But when your face itches or scratches, you use your right hand to scratch your face. So that way you're again not coming in contact with any of those germs.
Or one more option is, can you like use your elbow?
You can, but I personally cannot scratch my face with my elbows. So I find that very difficult. But you can obviously you can use your elbows and other parts.
That's funny. Even I cannot scratch my face with my elbow, but I use it to push doors open and to press lift buttons sometimes. What made you choose to be a doctor? As a child, what did you want to be?
As a child, for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a doctor. I don't know why, but maybe because my a lot of people in my family were doctors, I was influenced at a very young age. But I also used to be very interested in building things and fixing things and solving puzzles. So I think that kind of led me to even take up pathology, because pathology is all about solving puzzles. You're solving a puzzle of a patient or a disease, trying to find the clues to the answer. I think that's what I find most exciting about what I do.
Oh. But also, you need to keep yourself safe.
Yes, that's the first and only rule.
What are your hobbies?
I like photography a lot, and whenever I get a chance to, I take my camera out and take some photos of people, of my nephews and nieces, of my pets. So I find a lot of happiness in photography. I do really of late. I'm not having much time for other hobbies, but yeah, I think photography is my main hobby.
What about Lego?
Oh, Lego is not a hobby; it's a joy. Whenever I get time, I build Legos, and I have a good collection of Legos. Although I don't think it's as big as yours, but I enjoy building Legos.
Even I love building Legos.
No, I know that you do.
So, what is your favorite book?
Favorite book? Honestly, I don't read much, but I like the series of books written by Amish Tripathi of the Ram and which was the other one, the Shiva trilogy. So those series of books I enjoyed reading. Apart from that, I've not really read much. Apart from the comics, of course, Calvin and Hobbes are a favorite. Asterix is a favorite, and I also like reading Garfield, because I think I relate to Garfield at some level. I'm a very lazy person who doesn't like Mondays.
Even I read a little bit of Asterix.
You do? Who's your favorite character?
I don't know.
My favorite character is Dogmatics.
Yeah, Dogmatics is so cute. So, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food, okay. I can't pick a favorite. I like food a lot. I like to eat lots of things. And but if I had to pick a favorite, it would be what my mother cooks at home, because that always that is my comfort food.
I like pasta and pizza and all of those other stuff.
I like all those, but what I love is my mother's cooking.
Even mine.
Even you, yes.
So thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you, Vedanth, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. It's an honor.
Dear listeners, thanks for listening to Curious Vedanth. You can listen to this show anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more apps, or on vedant.buzzsprout.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give your ratings.